Flosstube, it's Kerry and Stitches. It's Friday the 19th. Thank you. And I knew this earlier, so 19th of March. I'd give up, but okay, no. Welcome to my Stitch with me. This is a channel all about cross stitch. And today we're just going to do a stitch with me. I am stitching on, puts the coffee down. I am stitching on Beaker. Beaker is from the Muppets, and this designer is by Fiddlesticks AU. I will link her Etsy shop below. I love Angie's designs. They're so much fun. So I'm Beaker because for a while my eldest nickname was Beaker, generally because being a teenage boy, you know, if he can get away with saying meep instead of anything else, he was fine. So he doesn't like people, and I'm sure he won't appreciate me saying that on Flosstube. I've got a jumper stuck in the thing. So I thought today we would go through, I'll fill you in on my week. We will talk a bit about the daily 30 weekly challenges that have just come out. Just checking my other camera that you can see what I'm doing. And lost my train of thought. And I thought I'd sort of talk you through my black pen design process, which might be pretty tricky to do without any pictures to go along with, but you know, I thought I'd just kind of just say how I approach stuff. So anyway, as you can see, Beaker is approaching a finish. I have this bit of his shirt to do, that little bit of his, sorry, this bit of his lab coat, that bit of his shirt, and his tie. He's going to be finished today. That'd be exciting. I set myself a target of a March 19th finish, and a March 19th finish he will be. So anyway, so how's my week been so far since you last saw me? And it's been good. I went and had my COVID jab on Monday. That was a surprise. Got the text on Saturday saying I was now eligible, and so I booked online. We're very lucky to have one of the large COVID vaccination centres pretty much across the road from us. So we booked and went there. Other than their technology not being as quick as they'd like it to be, it was absolutely seamless. You know, we went in, you know, they took our name and checked some ID. They booked us in, checked whether we'd had any COVID symptoms, whether we'd had a flu jab in the last 7 days. Can't think of anything else. Then sent us along to another person. Oh, sorry. So we went to the first person who checked our names off the list and checked our ID. Then we went and had hand sterilisation and mask changing. Then we went to the third person who checked us all in and double checked as to whether we'd had COVID symptoms or anything like that. Then we went to a bit further along the line and had our temperature taken before we were allowed to proceed into the vaccination room. We met somebody else at the bottom of the stairs who directed us to the next available booth, where a lovely nurse sort of went through some questions with us, you know, allergies and some of the sort of questions they'd already asked us to double check, told us what would happen, explained when we'd be, when the vaccine would kick in and all that kind of thing. Whilst she had an administration assistant there doing all the computer work and filling in our little vaccination record cards. So I've had my sticker. That's now currently stuck to my pin board because it's like a badge of honour to get your COVID jab. And we're booked in for our next one, or our second dose, at the end of May. Because in the UK it's about a 12-week wait between doses. So we've worked out that if it takes 3 weeks after your second dose to be fully immune and whatnot, that'll be the 21st of June when the country reopens. So couldn't have timed that better if we tried, really. Especially given the news this week, there's a potential shortage of vaccinations, and they're going to have to slow up a little bit on vaccinating, because they'd vaccinated a lot quicker than I think they'd anticipated. So anyway, they have still said there's plenty to go around and it'll be fine. It'll just be slightly slower. So we're glad we've got ours, and yeah, exciting. Yay for underlying conditions. I don't know which one I've got, but you know, we won't worry about that. It's fine. It's probably because I've had to take some vitamins and stuff recently for some blood work that I had done. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, and that's all fine. And I've got my COVID back, and I'm happy. So, or COVID jab, just to make Heather laugh because she thinks it's funny that we call them jabs. There we go. Anyway, so what else have we been up to? Daily 30 had a pop-up this week for St Patrick's Day, and I stitched like an absolute madwoman on Elizabeth Shepherd. I managed to do 1,100 stitches in 24 hours on a crazy. So, well, in fact, it was less than 24 hours, but I did. So I did 500 on the Wednesday, and our event sort of ran into the Thursday, and I did 600 on the on Thursday. So crazy numbers of stitches, and then I did another 300 last night and got a page finished. So yay for Elizabeth Shepherd. And apologies, you can only see my hand. I've got glue and stuff on them. We're making needle minders this morning, and the glue was slightly runnier than previously, so I'm not happy about that. But I need to clean up some needle minders now. Cotton swabs, that would have done it. Sorry, you know when you just kind of, yeah, okay, right. But we're recording Stitch With Me at the moment, so we won't be thinking about cotton swabs. So, speaking of stitching process, I thought I'd have a Shoals put out the new one for Daily 30, so I made some quick notes. It's all about the robin, the bird. So I will go through what I think I'm going to be working on in the next couple of weeks for that. These are all 100 or 200 stitches, so should be when I was talking about Elizabeth Shepherd, so that's my Whip Go goal hit for this month. Now my zombie run goal hit for this month on Elizabeth Shepherd. I've just got 2 more zombies to do, on one on Cardinal Points and one on O Tannenbaum. Yeah, so, and I'm halfway through my monthly, so that's my focus this weekend, is to finish off the monthly projects. Right, okay. So the first one is a whip that you've had for a while, but waited before you started it. So I'm going to go with my gnomes, because that chart has been in my stash, I'm going to say, for 3 years. I'm sure I bought it before So-and-So collapsed, or became whatever they became, but I'm sure I bought them in ye old So-and-So days. So it's got to be at least three, maybe 4 years. 3 years? Yeah, we'll go 3 years, I reckon I've had that chart. And I've kitted it up from stash, and so on Star Sapphire, that was, I mean, I've always got Star Sapphire at my stash. It's one of my favourite go-to kind of 32 counts, so I'm going to say that. And I'm going to go that. Okay, so this one's about what the robins have a sweet tooth, and they like to eat fruits and berries and sweet cakes, etc. Right, so I do need another cut. I've got 700 stitches assigned for Cardinal Points. I do need another couple. I need another 300, so I'm wondering whether I could put that in there, because there is grapes and things, so that's fruit. So I'm thinking maybe that. Building stuff you could build a nest with. There's birds on it, so I could say feathers that have fallen off the cardinals could feather the nest, maybe. There's also leaves and things like that, so I think that's probably a good shout. So that would probably finish off my cardinal points for Zombie Run. And hubby was right, the door would go when I was recording, so we're just going to carry on. That's our bikes that have been fixed, so yeah. So I think those two for cardinal points would be good. A whip that I've had for more than 2 years. I actually only have 2 whips that are more than 2 years old. One of those is Elizabeth Shepherd, and I'm trying not to stitch too much on that one at the moment. Because I'm kind of hit my point where I don't want to do too much more because I don't want to get burnt out and then put her away for 2 years again. So that would leave Lizzie Kate Flippets. I've done Zombie Run on those, so not sure if I want to get that one out. I have completed one this month completely, so maybe. That's okay. Thank you, dear.
Okay, love.
Oh, who does the editing? He can choose to edit that out or not. So we will see. The only other one is my Blackwork Lady. Maybe I'll do 2 hours on her. That would be a miracle in itself. That'll be the one thing I don't do. So maybe that. So actually, I probably ought to write some of these notes down. So what I had for a while before starting. So we're going to go gnome rope. Gnome. So CP, 2 years old. Blackwork. I have no idea what that says. Oh, yesterday's whip. So the actual prompt is stitch on a whip that you were working on. The last whip you worked on before this challenge was published, and that's Elizabeth Shepherd. So looks like I'm going to have to get it out. But I do have a weekly pass that I could possibly put that one in. But I mean, 100 stitch on Elizabeth Shepherd's not too much, so maybe. We'll see. We will see. Oh, let's just pop that in there. And we will... let's have a look. So this is the one which I have no idea about, and I seriously need... Well, I need to talk to my American friends and do some research. So stitch on a whip that reminds you about... that you can link to Michigan, Wisconsin, or Connecticut. I don't know. Sharon and Heather, I will be picking your brains on this one. I really don't know about that one, so... No, that's not going to work. I was about to say, thinking of things I'm selling with people, but none of them live in any of those states at the moment, so that's not going to work. And the last one is something that makes me happy. I don't know yet what makes me happy. To be honest, that will be whatever whip I'm working on that's making me happy when I get there. So to be honest, excuse me, it could be anything. What's kind of my happy whip today might not be when I get around to stitching it for the 200 stitches. So let's see. We'll see about that one. Yeah, I don't know. We will see. What else? Anything else? So yeah, those ones are going to be. We will see what happens. What we do when I get to that one. So, chosen, as you can see from the reflection of the scene, and the lights are on here today. It's a bit of a grey old day. We've had some rain this morning. The daffodils are out nicely, but yeah, it's not. We had 2 glorious days. Tuesday and Wednesday were beautiful. It was kind of just go out in a cardigan and you know, t-shirt and cardigan kind of weather. Beautiful blue sky, you know, you could feel the warmth of the sun. Oh, it was absolutely, it felt proper spring. It was glorious. And now we're back to, you know, grey old days again. It is a bit miserable, but I need to get in the garden and start tidying up and doing. Saw a lovely big bumblebee yesterday and the day before. He was huge. He really was, you know. So I need to make sure there's bits and pieces for him. I mean, he's got the daffs and things, and there's some tulips coming up as well. So we need to just make sure we've got plenty of food for him. What else? So that's kind of my stitching plans for the weekend. Mainly, it's going to be, I'm going to do stitch on Mischief Manage tonight, because as soon as this is finished, Mischief Manage becomes my new daily 30 piece, where I'm going to stitch on it for 30 minutes every day, plus throw it into a couple of challenges and hopefully get that moved along. I think I had 2,200 stitches left on it, so I'd really like to get that finished. Oh no, so I did a load. I have no idea. I'm sure I did 400 stitches on it the other day, but I don't know if that counted. So the 2,200 or 1,800 stitches left on it. So theoretically, at my kind of average stitch rate for daily 30, let's call it 3 weeks stitching, I generally can do 100 stitches in 30 minutes on a daily, on a relatively simple piece. It is on black, so it's slightly trickier, but there's not a lot of colour changes, so that does make life a little easier. So I shall probably, stitch on that. Well, I shall be stitching on that for the next 3 weeks, because the plan was to have this one done and Mischief Managed for the kids' birthdays at the end of April. So I should be on course for those. And then I am going to, daily 30 is really working for me at the moment. And I know my dear friend Sharon has had some really good success with daily 30s, and you know, she stitched Quilting Bee in like 4 months, just doing daily 30 on it, and she's doing the Blue Flower Squirrels, and she's done those for daily 30. I mean, she's put them into the odd prompt here and there if they fitted, but generally just from doing daily 30, and I think that's amazing to think that you could do something like Quilting Bee in that length of time. I'll just stab myself again. So I'm going to, April, I want to just whip down a little bit, and I'm just going to try and get some of the smaller ones done, and I'm going to use my daily 30s are going to be my, to get rid of some of it, in April to get rid of the smaller projects, and then maybe in May I'm going to try and do, well, we'll talk about Mania another time, probably on my next Stitch With Me, because I'll maybe have thought through a little bit more about what I'm doing. I kind of have rough plans for Mania in that I want to do more of a whip Mania. Absolutely loved doing all my ornaments last year. I really did. So I'd like to do some ornaments, but my whip count is also way higher than it was this time last year. So I think I had 18 whips this time last year. I've got like 27 at the moment, which, you know, it's not a lot for a lot of people, but it is for me. So I don't want to be adding to a whip count, and as much as I love stitching all those ornaments, finishing them was a challenge. I mean, I did get every single one of them FFO'd, fully finished, but I'm not sure. I'm struggling with motivation to FFO this year. My time, my non-stitchy time, you know, the time I spend during the day when I'm not stitching. I don't tend to stitch that much during the day. During the week anyway, that's kind of when I do all my black hair stuff. Because I generally finish work around 2 and pick up any things then, and generally work till about 5 on black hair. So I kind of do my day job in the morning to early afternoon, and then do my, you know, hobby job in the afternoons, and try and sort of finish it for tea time. So Oh, train of thought's gone. So usually that would be when I would FFO. I'd kind of get the stuff out for a week and then kind of just work my way through things over a week. Maybe kind of getting a production line going with, oh, all these things need gluing, all these things, you know. Then the next day, oh, these all dry. I can do step 2, or let me machine everything that needs machining today. So, yeah. So doing black pear has meant I'm not feeling the FFOing at the moment. So although I do have a lot on the trailer, I've got no scissors over here. I really should leave some needlework scissors in here, so we'll just get out my big scissors. Yeah, they do live in here. Right, 2 colours to go. It's exciting. Got a love a finish. So Beaker's all stitched into DMC in the core 4 colours. So anyway, oh, let me get you back into camera. Yeah, there we are. Oh, back's aching today. The perils are big, so I tend to perch on the edge of my chair, which is really bad. And yeah, Leaf gave myself a really bad back. So I'm really up close and personal then, wasn't I? So it's okay. Oh, you can't see what I'm stitching. No, I can't see what I'm stitching. Let's make a slight adjustment. Look at that. Should have done that earlier. Actually, oh, yeah, you can see my setup. There we go. Well, it's nothing technical here. Phone hanging above. It's literally on a basket. The tripod. We've got a really, really nice tripod. But we've just not been able to find a really decent stitch from the angle. And when we spent ages, I don't know if you saw my video I posted to Instagram. I think it's on my Black Pear page as well on Facebook. It's a time lapse of me making a scissor fob, and I spent an hour faffing with setups just to try and do this time lapse, and then managed to literally lie the tripod on top of a big plastic basket that's on the table, and it's ideal. It's just the right height that I've got working space and everything, and you can still see the whole of the beadboard and everything. Sometimes it's the simplest. We spent ages just trying to doing the tripod. Does it work here? And how about if we do this? And let's get the other tripod out that we've got and try that one. And no, apparently you just need to lie it on a basket. Who knew? Anyway, so I'm kind of glad we've got it sorted now. I really like ease of setup. Doesn't get much easier than that. Even if it does end up being in the corner of the frame, but we can deal with that. It's fine. I could move the iPad, but I won't. Anyway, so I was going to talk to you about how I kind of my design process for Black Pear. So design process. I generally start off with charms. That kind of forms the basis of how I'm going to do something. So I'll get my charm box out. I mean, I've had a big delivery of charms this week. These are some of the ones I've got. I haven't done anything with yet. So what I'll do is I will generally think, okay, I'm going to use that one today, right? And I'll do that one, and I'm going to do that one, and then I will look at the colours and start raiding all the bead pots. But I start with usually have somewhere usually between 4 and even maybe up to 10 scissor fobs at a go. And that's why sometimes when I upload things, you'll see similar beads or the same beads in. And this so I've done three scissor fobs with very similar colour schemes this week, just because, well, I don't know, it ends with a lot of pink this week and last week. Don't usually do a lot of pink, but sometimes you get drawn to those colours. Anyway, so I'll find the charms, and then I would basically just get my boxes out and go, oh yeah, I've got a nice blue bead, and most of my boxes are organised by colour, and then there are 2 or 3 boxes that are, well, I think it's probably about 6 boxes that are organised by type of bead, or, you know, multicoloured beads, or, you know, I've got a box of acrylic flower beads and things like that. So I will start getting boxes out, and then I will just start putting beads on the bead board, or 2 bead boards sometimes, and that way, and then I'll start moving things about, and then I might, you know, whilst I'm rooting around for a particular colour, I might find something else I think, oh, that would work with that, and put it on. And that's kind of how I design. That's why I like to have several on the go. I find it very difficult to do one at a time, because I think sometimes I need to do other designs just to kind of get the move from one thing to another. And what I think might work for one design doesn't work, but is perfect for another. So I'm just trying to see if I can. And I use Lottie. She's fantastic at colour. So this is one I actually finished today, and I didn't like this much. When the bees were on the thing, I was like, yeah. Lottie's like, I don't really like it. I think it really works. And she's right. I won't tell her that too much, but... And then I did this one, and I put the beads away. I had some other beads on. I actually made it up with other beads, and it didn't like it. It just didn't work. They looked wrong. So I pulled them off and put a few extra, just put a few extra of each of the, well, one extra of each of the colour, and I'm like, yeah, that's perfect now. That works really well. So it really is a lot of trial and error. Sometimes immediately I will see a charm and I will know what beads. So for this one, for example, I knew that I wanted to use these glass pearls, and I didn't have many of them in the brighter colours. I've got a lot of the paler colours and a lot of the natural colours, but not so much in the brighter ones. So I looked through my suppliers and I was like, oh, I don't really want to order loads more beads because I'm really trying to use what I've got. And then I was looking in the bead box and I saw these 3, and I was like, those are pretty, they would work really well. There's check glass, just in case you're interested. The pearls are glass too. And then I was looking for something else. I was going in the box to get those blue and pink ones out because I needed a couple more, and I happened to find the box I took off the top of them had these glass beads in, which are called rice beads. And I was kind of like, it needs a couple of small beads, and those would work really well. And that's kind of how it happened. So I knew all along I wanted to use the pearls, but sometimes it takes, you just kind of it develops. And no, so you'll find that, oh, I can't even reach where it went, so we're just going to put that down there. So I think there's 2 or 3 that I've got, so I'm looking because they're all on a post on the side of the box here. Yeah, so that's kind of how my design process goes. It's kind of a bit of trial and error. It's not trial, yeah, it is trial and error, and sometimes things work that I don't think are going to work, and sometimes things come together really easily. I've got a couple of fobs that I haven't quite finished because my original plan didn't quite go, so, or I've gone, yeah, that needs some, so I did do a bead order today. Different bead order to the one I started at the start of the week when I started laying this out, but just kind of a few things just to round out a couple of gaps in my stock levels. It's funny, I spent most of my beading life, now I've been beading for 30 years now. I made my first pair of earrings at 13. I can even tell you what they look like. They had little square wooden beads on them. There you go. And I loved it, beadings. it's the hobby I've always gone back to. Anyway, yeah, so yes, I'm playing thread chicken now. I don't know why, so I'm going to need another colour of it. Anyway, I just like finishing rows. Yeah, so for years, 6mm beads are the one size bead that I've always kept loads of, always had loads. Usually a decent number of 4mm as well. And they seem to be the one, but recently I seem to have had a lot of 8 and 10mm in my bead collection, which are fantastic, but sometimes you need something smaller just to balance. So that's what I've ordered today. 6mm, possibly some 8mm. Definitely 2 lots of 6mm. There's a needle. And I can't remember what's that. And I found some pearls, but I think they might be 8, but that'll be okay. Because they only had them in 8 in the mix that I wanted. I like buying mixed bags of beads. Beads Unlimited does one of my favourites, and they're called Precocia. They're check glass, and I love them, and they do some fantastic mixes of them. And because they're a nice mix, it often gives you kind of a good colour palette to work from. So that one, this one, I think that might be 2 colour palettes there, but that one, Cat Puccino, anyone? Yeah, so Ladybird, I'm not sure where the green ones were. I think they might have been from Uranium Mix, and where's the other one? That was, again, one that just kind of came together with just the oval check glass and the square, and I had I'd ordered a set of cubes, and then I just threw in some little tiny glass ones as well. I love that. I just think that's really pretty. So lots of lovely bobs. I used to be a bead snob. I really was, where I would only use like glass beads, metal beads, natural beads. Like plastic beads were like, no, plastic beads are terrible. They are cheap and nasty. Yes, there are some cheap and nasty plastic beads. I'm sorry, there are. I have a lot of plastic beads, but I'm learning to embrace good quality beads. My exception always used to be miracle beads were fine. Miracle beads were good quality. A miracle bead is, I actually use something. Oh, good. This is a miracle bead. So they are the kind of shiny ones. I don't know why they're called miracle beads, but they are. Oh, yeah. Pretty sunflowers. Yes, so they were my exception. I like miracle beads. I've always liked using them. But now I've kind of discovered that there are some other. I'm just looking through to see what I've used today. It's not finished. I actually got some. Yeah, I've got some smaller ones. I love these. They're acrylic, but they're really, really good quality. So, and yeah. Let's turn it around. You get teacup cats. I like teacup cats. Acrylic and glass. So these are all acrylic, these faceted ones, and then the little hearts of glass. What else we got? I might as well just show you what else we've done. You saw the ice cream one. That other one's not finished. There we go. So this is all glass Precocia mixes. He's bad. I like that one. It's one of my favourites actually. And I don't like pink. I'm not a pink person at all, but somehow that just kind of worked. And Mermaid's Tail. So that's actually an acrylic charm, but with glass beads. So, and I'm just waiting for some small cracker ones to come in as well. So there you go. See, that's all my new, because that's just the unicorn head there that's left. So I've learnt to embrace good quality acrylic. Sometimes I think it's difficult because like the flower fobs that I made, did not think they would sell. But I was really taken with the daffodil beads, and I just thought, I'm going to buy one set, and if I sell one, great, I might make one for myself. Never did make one for myself. I do have, I think I've got enough to make, I didn't have enough leaves, I think I've got enough to make myself one. Yeah, so it's funny how these things, well, I guess it's a lot like cross stitch, your tastes do change, and I'm really pleased. It's nice to kind of just look at new things, and I will always go back to glass beads. I love glass beads. I just think there's some real beauty in them, and they're great for the weight. I mean, that's quite a decent weighted scissor fob. You put that on, that's going to pull your scissors down, and it's going to protect the tip of your scissors. Top tip there. This one, actually, this is quite heavy for the acrylic one as well. Again, this is a really lightweight one. Probably not going to protect your scissors much, but it's pretty and sunshiny. But that's the great thing about scissor fobs, is that you put them on, and I should have brought some scissors in, and maybe I'll have to do a demonstration one day, is that some of them, oh, words are gone. So, you know, they're great. The weight of them will, if you drop your scissors on the floor, the weight of the fob will pull your scissors down. So let's do, because those scissors are way too big, let's just kind of just clip it onto a pen. So you do that, it's going to pull it down like that, so your scissors are going to be protected, and obviously it's on the end, so it's going to pull it down like that. So the tip of your scissors should then just go and gently land on the floor, theoretically. It's not going to work with all scissor fobs, but if they've got a fairly good weight to them, I mean, that one would, you drop that, and I'm not going to, it's going to make a loud clatter. If I just drop it onto, it pulls it down by the fob first, not by the tip of the scissors. So they just kind of, certainly if you're using kind of a fairly standard pair of embroidery scissors, I know there are some seriously weighty ones out there, and you might not necessarily get that from a scissor fob. You might not get a scissor fob that's going to counteract that, but that's kind of how it goes. And I think at 40 minutes almost, I probably ought to leave this here. So thank you for listening to me to ramble on about how I design and practical things about scissor fobs, and you got to see my new line, which I wasn't expecting to show you today, because I'm not planning on uploading it to Etsy for the next couple of days. So there we go. Probably over the weekend it was planned. It seems to be Saturday mornings my new shop updates go up. I always plan for a Friday, and then usually, well, I ended up doing a lot more making this one. I would have had time to do it this morning had I not been making, and I've got new needle minders to go up, which are out of reach. I've been making counting pins. So there we go, counting pins. We've got just some little fine meal hearts, some fine meal butterflies, also fine meal blue flowers, pumpkins, because they were there. I was going, oh, I'm going to make counting pins with those. I have actually got these ones still need gluing, and there's going to be a pumpkin frogger as well. So, what new? Well, we're shopping update now. New minders in our donut unicorn, 2 new gnomes, a restock of coffee and coffee owl, and weekend forecast cross stitch with no chance of house cleaning or cooking. So those are going in the shop at some point this week and beginning of next week. So yeah, so until next week, where we'll have a regular update, take care, and I will see you soon, my friends. Happy stitching. Bye bye.